Hey Harmonizers, welcome to this video where we're going to be looking at Mustang Lila getting ready to compete in Pennsylvania. This is her first ever show. She is at the Uxbridge Fall Fair, of course with Zoe, who's been the one doing most of the training with her, spending most of the time with her, and so she's going to be the one competing her in Pennsylvania. This is her first ever horse training type of competition, and she's doing a great job, and she came out here, didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare, and I'm in here with Pretzel. As you can see, I'm holding Pretzel, so I was filming while kind of in the ring competing myself as well. And although she does a really great job here, you can see she does the pivot turn pretty nicely and then walking forward. Zoe hadn't really done any halter or showmanship classes before, so this was kind of a lot for her to take in and learn something new. Normally when Zoe competes, she's doing hunters or jumpers, so this is a totally different thing for her to figure out how to do. And so there's lots of little polishing pieces that weren't necessarily correct. So like here, for example, when the judge walks around, you're supposed to switch sides, and so the timing of that needs to be really crisp and keeping the horse's head with you, the attention, all of those things. And of course, you'll notice, see, she has a rope halter on, but she's dressed in English because Zoe competes English. So when you do that, you're not actually meeting the requirements for how you're supposed to present your horse. Normally, if you're English and doing showmanship, you would have a bridle with a bit, but this horse isn't trained for that. And Zoe is primarily here just to help prepare her for Pennsylvania, get her exposed for her first time out. And you can see she's done a great job. Lila looks relaxed. If anything, she just wants to eat the grass there. And so she's looking really calm and having a great first experience out, especially considering this is a really busy show. This is a really busy time. And so she's doing a really wonderful job and didn't end up placing in her classes. There were lots of people in the classes, and the combination of just not being super proper with the timing, because it was all new for Zoe, combined with not having the right equipment, which is just because she was there doing what the horse needed to be in the familiar equipment that she's used to with the rope halter. And she did try her best. You know, it's nice matching rope halter with lead rope, so she did a really great job. And you can see the show is a really busy place to be. There's like a little spooky moment as somebody walked really fast by, but the horse doesn't go anywhere. Lila doesn't go anywhere or get really upset. And you can see she goes right back to eating grass and seeming very relaxed. So she did a really great job. Now we're back at home, and I wanted to share a little riding update. So this is a little look at Zoe was working on the walk trot, which is pretty exciting for her to be doing that. So this is all new for Zoe, teaching a horse how to do under saddle work and progressing with all of these little things. And so she's doing a fantastic job. And she did this all on her own, getting the trot happening. And she had, you know, some help on the ground from some other people, but was able to do that all on her own. And you can see there's a couple moments where Lila's like, okay, I did lots of trot. Can I stop and get my cookie yet? And Zoe's like, no, like, come on, like, let's get a little bit more trot happening. Let's try to follow through a little bit. And she does a little bit of rhythm, a little bit of getting used to that leg and that going. And of course, we're riding in our fusion halter. The fusion halter is the rope halter combined with a leather halter. So you get the convenience of having the little rings for your reins as well as for cross ties and things like that. But you also get the trainability of the rope over the nose and behind the ears, which is super handy and less emotional for the horse. When they don't have a bit in their mouth, you don't have that whole emotional piece going on there. So you can see the riding got going pretty good. Like the fact that she's getting some walk trot happening is pretty exciting. And then this is the freestyle practice. So when you do a Mustang training competition, you have your handling classes where, you know, you have to go in a trailer and pick up their feet and brush them, all those kinds of things, and the trail class. But then you have a freestyle where you get anywhere from 3 to 4 minutes in the arena, depending on the rules that they have, to show your horse off the best that you can. And so this was Zoe's first kind of run through of putting together a bit of a routine. And look at the amazing job that she's done with Lila, just with how calm Lila is. She's got a balloon tied to her back that's moving all around. She was in the kiddie pool, and look at this, as she gets trotting, the balloon gets like caught in the air and even like bumps her in the bum. And Lila's like okay with it. She's like, okay. And so there she was a little too lazy and too slow, so she didn't actually jump the jump that she was supposed to jump. But that's all right. If your issue is being too slow, that's pretty good. She even flipped the little hula hoop there on the ground, and she's totally okay with it. So that's really, really good. And I love that Lila's checking in with Zoe. And so, of course, there's a little bit of messiness here because the rope length and the timing and making sure Lila knows where to go, figuring out to teach her these little pieces to make sure that she understands where she's supposed to go. It's a little bit messy for sure. And Lila's like, I don't want to do another jump here. And so Zoe's like, okay, well, let's just lead over it. And Lila's like, oh yeah, like I do pool noodles, but I'm not jumping. And so little things like with Zoe, this being her first time training for this kind of stuff, if it was me, you know, I'd be giving this cookie right away here. And that's exactly what Zoe's doing, which is fantastic. And maybe when you're doing the freestyle, especially since this is the first time putting together the routine, I introduce those cookies more frequently throughout the routine to kind of teach the horse the individual blocks of what they're supposed to do. So for this horse, you know, maybe if we had done a cookie over the first jump, the second jump might have gone better. I don't know. But who knows? She's done a really good job with a lot of things here. Like, look at Lila standing on the pedestal, whipping this flag around. She's done a great job of desensitizing her to some different things and, you know, building that trust. If the one thing we're going to complain about is that Lila was lazy and didn't really want to jump, which could be a balloon factor as well, because the balloon kind of hits her in the bum when she goes over. But if that's, you know, the worst that's happening, that's really not bad at all. And congratulations to Zoe for getting this much training done. I've given her some pointers along the way and have definitely helped out with certain things, like being the first one to take Lila out of the paddock when we first got her out for the very first time, and a few things like that. But otherwise, it's really been Zoe kind of taking the lead here. Like, she's taught this horse how to drag. Look at this. She's done a great job and getting that trot going. She's been working on it, and the riding, all of these pieces. So she's looking pretty well prepared to go to Pennsylvania for the competition. And I'll definitely be sharing that video with you guys later this week, so you get to see how it goes.
Remember to subscribe and check out harmonyhorsemanship.com for even more learning.